guys, what's going on? Is Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. Some major balance changes to talk about. So let's just jump right into it here. Starting with a massive nerf to every spawner in the game, including the Mother Witch. So starting with the Furnace. The lifetime of the Furnace has been decreased to 33 seconds from 49 seconds. That is insane. The spawn rate, though, has increased. So one Fire Spirit for Death Spawn as well added to it. The spawn rate has gone from 7 seconds to 6 seconds, and then the hit points have been reduced on top of that by 17%. So the lifetime decreased, the spawn a little bit faster, plus 1 on death, so overall a massive nerf to the Furnace. Goblin Hut, lifetime from 40 seconds to 31 seconds. Again, we see that spawn rate change from 4.5 seconds to 4 seconds, faster spawn to compensate for the shorter lifespan of the unit, and hit points again down 17% on the Goblin Hut. Let's keep it going. Barbarian Hut spawned, or excuse me, the lifetime 50 to 40 seconds now on the Barbarian Hut. The spawn rate from 12.5 to 10 seconds on those Barbarians. And then we have HP minus 15%. Last but not least, we have the Tombstone. Tombstone from 40 to 30 second lifetime. We have 2 skeletons now spawned at a time for the Tombstone, and the spawn rate has changed from 3.1 to 3.3 seconds, you know, because we have 2 spawned at the same time instead. So massive nerf, as I said, to all of the spawners out there. How do you feel about it? Me, I am thrilled with this decision. We're starting out on a good note here in these balance changes. I feel for people who did upgrade, of course, especially to level 14, any of these spawners. That really sucks, but at the end of the day, I think it makes for very uninteresting, unengaging gameplay. Not a lot of strategy involved, and it feels frustrating to play against. They go on to say, reducing in recent months, spawners, buildings that generate units, in case you didn't know what a spawner was, have risen, leading to a passive gameplay in frustrating battles. What I just said, right? Reducing their lifetime could prevent the accumulation of buildings in overtime. They should also provide less defensive potential than purely defensive buildings like Bomb Tower or Tesla, also getting a nerf. Poison will also be stronger against Goblin Hut and Furnace. Keep in mind, again, the HP of everything except for the Tombstones, the Goblin Hut, Barbarian Hut, and Furnace have been decreased. Next up is the Fire Spirits getting a nerf. What? I think this might be justified, actually, despite my reaction. The jump range has been decreased from 2,500 to 2,000. So a decent nerf to the jump range of the Fire Spirit. They say this change should help some ranged units deal with Fire Spirit without actually getting hit. Okay, whatever. I do think the Fire Spirit was very strong for 1 elixir, but you could probably say that about any 1 elixir card in the game, couldn't we? Next is going to be Executioner. I think Fire Spirit's still going to be okay. Executioner, plus 5% HP. They say, this hooded cookery love has always been in a tricky place and surely needs some attention. This small HP buff will allow him to be more efficient in the arena. I like the change. You gotta be careful with Executioner, though, because this card can be incredibly annoying. Exy NATO? I mean, that used to be a thing. You don't see it that much anymore, but it could chop down any push when Executioner was too strong in the game. So we got to keep our eye out, but I don't think a 5% HP increase is going to be enough to push him over the edge, so where he's annoying, so I'm okay with this change. This next one, though, this one is interesting. A head scratcher here. Rascal Girls. Hit speed plus 9%. There's some very interesting buffs coming up, guys. Get ready. Get your popcorn ready here. Rascals have use rates have been very low for a long time. This buff to the girls should put them on the map. Well, I already personally have been advocating for Rascals being a really strong card. It sucks right now for Rascals because Log and Arrows are both very popular inside the meta, both obviously killing the Rascal Girls. However, I think they're still an incredibly versatile and strong unit. Even at 5 elixir cost, you get a tank, you get 2 essentially archers in the back, and now with that hit speed, and this is why it was smart not to go knight and archers. There were going to be like the Royal Brigade or something originally, that card concept, but they changed it that way we can buff and nerf and balance cards without impacting the other cards. Kind of like Goblin Gang, that you can't really touch Goblin Gang without touching Goblins and Spirit Goblins. So this buff I think is pretty cool to see. I'm excited about it. I think that Rascal is going to be even more powerful, and hopefully their use rates get increased a little bit as well. What about you guys? guys? Am I alone on my Rascal Island here? Or are you a fan of the card already to begin with? Okay, next up, Goblin Cage seeing a nerf. Minus 23%. HP, I'm assuming here. They don't say, but it's got, no, it is. They do say. My bad. I suck. All right, HP minus 23%. They say the coolest thing about Goblin Cage is the Goblin Brawler inside. A single tough unit that can counter pushes once the cage is destroyed. We want to keep him kicking butts while nerfing the defensive part of the card. Pretty significant nerf to the Goblin Cage, minus 23%. However, it's such a versatile building that I still think it will see use, despite the nerf to the Goblin Cage itself. What say you guys on the Goblin Cage? I could see this one going either way. Next up is the Mother Witch, a nerf, minus 18% to the HP of the Mother Witch. Minus 18%, those of you who've been watching, those of you who've been playing for a long time, you already know this. But these massive numbers, a little number makes a big difference in Clash Royale. 18% HP, 23% HP on the Goblin Cage. These are big numbers here, guys. So the Mother of all Witches is still kicking strong in the arena despite her old age. This nerf will allow more options to counter her. For example, arrows and zap will now do the trick instead of that mandatory fireball. I don't know, man. She still has all her offensive and defensive utility, minus a little bit of HP, but that is a very significant HP nerf to Mother Witch. I do see her use rates being impacted by this nerf. What about you guys? The next one, Tesla hit speed, minus 9% on the hit speed. That is massive, guys. That's going to be definitely noticeable in game. Tesla is one of the strongest buildings in the game. This slight nerf should make it weaker versus longer and bigger pushes. I think it's more than a slight nerf. I think this is a significant nerf personally to the Tesla in that hit speed. However, Tesla is so dang good in the game right now that I think it's still going to remain good. I think it's still going to remain usable, viable in meta inside the game. So I like this. I almost would have rather seen, not rather, in addition to this, I would have loved to see maybe very, very slight buffs to the Bomb Tower and the Inferno Tower, making it a little bit more of a viable option. Who knows, maybe Bomb Tower and Inferno Tower will start to see a little bit more action in the meta, depending on how the meta shifts in response to all of these balance changes. Very hard to predict, but I'm interested in hearing from you guys. And there's more, we're not even done here, guys. 3 of the most exciting ones still coming at you. Battle Ram, this is insane to me. This one, there's 2, well, all 3 of these are insane. All right, shut up, Ash. Just get to it, dude. All right, Battle Ram. With this small connection damage plus 8% to the Battle Ram. Battle Ram, keep in mind, doesn't have high use rates. Doesn't have exceptionally high win rates, but really solid win rates. The thing is Battle Ram is in always the top 3 deck in the game in traditional P.E.K.K.A. bridge spam. So to me, you know, that is concerning, right? Because that deck's even more powerful now. There were no major nerfs to P.E.K.K.A. bridge spam, and then we get this buff. Connection damage plus 8%. They say with this small buff, we want to make Battle Ram relevant again and open up the choices and possibilities of the win condition. It was already doing pretty dang good. It was already in the #1 deck, P.E.K.K.A. bridge spam, man. I'm not going to complain about it because I love P.E.K.K.A. bridge spam, so selfishly, I'm cool with it, but I was not expecting the Battle Ram. I know some players are opting to go with the Ram Rider here and there in their P.E.K.K.A. decks, but I still think the Battle Ram was really solid. Now it's going to be even more solid. However, I don't want to go super hyperbolic here. I don't think they went overboard. 8% connection damage shouldn't make it broken, but I think that deck will be more viable now. Ice Wizard now has an Enter the Arena effect similar to the E-Wiz, similar to the Mega Knight. Now, when you cast the Ice Wizard, he's going to apply a little AoE cold effect on deployment. They will have slight damage or inflict slight damage and applies a slowdown effect. Think of it like the Ice Vortex Death ability of the Ice Golem. That's going to be his Enter the Arena ability. Now, for me, it is cool to see them add this to a legendary card that kind of needed a buff, but does it really fit kind of the style, the motif of the Ice Wizard? Ice Wizard isn't usually a card that you're playing on top of units. So I wonder how practical this will be when we see it inside the arena. Does that make sense to you guys? Are you picking up what I'm putting down there on the Ice Wizard? To me, it's just like, I guess you could say the same about E-Wiz. But nah, Ewis feels different because he has that reset and stuff like that. When are you going to plop down an Ice Wizard on like a Golem push? You're just going to die, you know? So it will be very interesting to see. I like the idea in concept when I hear it, but how will it be in practicality in the arena? That remains to be seen. I err slightly on the side of not a great option for Ice Wizard, but I could be wrong. God knows I've been wrong plenty of times in the past. All right, the most shocker of all shockers, Dart Goblin with a massive buff. I'm not joking. Damage plus 9% to the Dart Goblin. They say this significant buff should not change many interactions except for the fact that he's going to plow them all down with a Gatling gun, machine gun style. But the speedy little guy will be more useful against targets with many HP like Hog Rider and Giant. Oh my word. I shared a 20-win grand challenge here on the 20-win challenge, sorry, here on the channel a few days back. Dart Goblin Cycle, minor Dart Goblin, dude. Dart Goblin, the little fella, is he's Clash Royale's best kept secret. And now, I don't think that's going to be the case. He's going to be everywhere, man. 3 elixir to get that much damage out of that card with that range, with that speed. I love the Dart Goblin, and now I love him a little bit more. I don't think this change was necessary, but I'm still kind of excited to see it in action. Even though some of these balance changes were a bit of a head-scratcher to me, guys. I have to be real. You know me, I love frequent balance changes, so I'm excited for these changes, just excited to switch things up in the meta. So overall, I'm excited, I'm optimistic, I'm glass half full, even though some of these to me were really outside the box, not what I was expecting. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of these balance changes? Let me know in the comments below. I will check them out certainly on this video. I want to hear from you guys. So drop me a line. What are you for? What are you against? And what was missing that you thought was going to be changed but was not talked about or not touched in these balance changes? No champion balance changes, so that was kind of surprising. Yet I was really hoping for a buff to the Skeleton King. That was my big thing, that I was kind of bummed out. Clearly, they're going to change and balance the champions separate than cards. At least that's what they've done thus far. But I really want a Skeleton King to receive a solid buff. At least change his ability. Keep it simple. Change it from 2 to 1. But we'll see. Maybe next time on that one. Guys, big shout out to GFUEL where you can get 10% off your entire order if you use code ASH using the link in the description below. Big shout out to Clash Royale and to Bren Chong, my YouTube partners. Check out their information as well. And as always, take care, guys.